It's the moment you didn't know you're waiting for.
He is Carter.
He's Chad.
And this is the Irish 365 podcast.
Chad, this is Lou Holtz. That's head coach of Notre Dame for 11 years. Greatest experience of my life. They're starting a Notre Dame podcast this summer. I have a podcast as well, but it's not about Notre Dame football, although I wish there were. But congratulations on your success. And it would be nice if I could be on your podcast, but my schedule is so hectic. But anything that has to do with Notre Dame, I'm all for it. God bless you. Go Irish.
Welcome into the Irish 365 podcast. We've got a good show for you guys today, right?
It is. It is a good show because we are how many weeks away?
Less than 4.
Less than 4.
Less than 4 weeks out from our opening weekend game versus Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. I think we're going to break down some defense for you guys today. Talk a little bit about our upcoming game against Wisconsin, the excitement there.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll break down defense. We'll come back next episode. We'll hit some offense. And then after that, I think we'll do the season preview. We'll go know your opponents, right, and we'll predict how they're going to fare. And I think that's going to be kind of exciting.
Always a fun one I enjoy.
Plus, we've got a few extra surprises coming up, I think, soon here in the Irish 365 podcast.
So we got some things in the works.
Stay tuned. We've done contests before.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tease it. We're going to go up a notch.
Yeah.
We're going to go up a notch. We're going to see who knows ball this year.
Okay.
All right. So let's do it. I mean, 4 weeks out, Wisconsin, we're talking hotels. We're talking what we're going to do, what we're going to stay. I'm excited. The full Irish 365 crew is going to get to be on site for the Wisconsin game. Yeah. We've got some pretty darn good seats. First row in section 300 and something.
Right.
So anytime you're in the front row of a section, especially if it's like that middle tier section,
right, we've
talked about this before from the fan perspective. Right. I love to set just high enough that I can see the play develop, but not so high I'm in the nosebleeds. And I think that's kind of where we're going to be at Lambeau. I've never been to Lambeau for anything, so I'm super excited. I've been in Green Bay once my entire life, drove by the stadium, but to get to actually go to a game, I always thought it was going to be a Packers game, so take it up a notch.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, right? It's one of the most iconic stadiums in all of football. I think a lot of people would probably compare it as the college stadium in the NFL, right? I mean,
I think so.
And, I mean, I've seen Notre Dame the last couple of years has definitely got the cathedral of college football. This is probably one of the cathedrals of the NFL. Like, it's historic, everything about it, being in the neighborhood,
There's a lot of great NFL stadiums, but when I think of NFL stadiums, I'm thinking modern facilities.
You're right.
So it's just like this is an old throwback facility, and it's not been sucked into the hey, shout out to SoFi Stadium.
Yeah,
I'm told it's beautiful. We've been to Allegiant Stadium.
Right.
We've been to a lot of NFL stadiums.
Hopefully we're going to Allegiant Stadium at the end of the year.
Right? I'm hoping to be there in January.
Yeah.
But we'll see. A lot of ball to be played between now and then. But I'm excited about Lambeau, the experience, the small town vibe. I think it fits well. I mean, Wisconsin. I think that's an interesting program. You got a coach with the back against the wall.
Right.
You've got people talking about them being maybe a dark horse to play for the Big Ten championship. So are they terrible? Are they not terrible? Who knows?
It's all the preseason hype, but every time I hear about Wisconsin, if it's in the Notre Dame discussion, like, oh, Notre Dame's schedule this year stinks, Wisconsin stinks.
Yeah.
Every time I hear just Wisconsin in general, not related to Notre Dame's schedule, they could be pretty good.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a dynamic, right? Let's pause for just a second and go down this path. Is Notre Dame's schedule full of cupcakes? Because when you look at the Vegas odds, I think we're preseason favored to win every game by multiple scores, with the exception of Miami.
I can't remember if
Miami's
BYU. Miami was 7.5.
BYU I thought was 10.
10. That's what I'm thinking.
So like multiple scores.
Now there's not lines out for every game. Yada. But
those are the big games. I mean, if you're going to beat Miami,
if you're a favorite of those ones on the road at BYU. Yeah,
Miami is probably the best athletes, best talented team we're going to face. BYU is probably number 2.
Yeah,
you feel good about having Miami in Notre Dame,
right?
Especially
in November.
Yeah, I'd feel a little more unsure about us being at Miami.
Yeah.
Being an equalizer. Obviously, going to Provo and playing BYU, I'm excited about that activity. I have not ruled out going to Provo at this point.
Right.
But all that being said and done, that's like the second toughest game, and it's like, wait a minute, if you're projected to win by 7 or 10, the two toughest games on your schedule. So, is it because we anticipate the Notre Dame team to be so good this year that our schedule looks like a cupcake?
Yeah.
So, if you were to pull Notre Dame out of this schedule and you were to plug in Texas Tech, would you still say it's a cupcake schedule?
I don't think it's a cupcake schedule. I just think it's because we're independent. That's why.
But that's the question, right? What if you were to, remove Notre Dame and insert some other team that, is in the top 15? Outside of, would you say it's a cupcake schedule if Georgia played it? Would you say it's a cupcake schedule if, SMU was playing it? Obviously, they can't because we got SMU on the schedule. But you know what I'm saying? I think that part of it is we're getting this cupcake lore. Now, here's the other thing. We've got the whole renewal of the rivalry with USC.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. I couldn't be more happy to see that come back. I'm disappointed that IU pulled out, and that's what created the opening for us to play Miami or USC.
Yeah.
But I'm also going, well, gee, is USC not one to play us? Because it seems like anytime a team puts us on their schedule, they fall apart. They become a cupcake.
Yeah.
They're not that good. BYU's not that good. We were dodging BYU and we were scared of them in the Pop-Tart Bowl last year.
Right.
Now you fast forward.
We picked them up.
Yeah. Then we pick them up, and now it's like, BYU's not that good. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
In December, we were dodging them because we were scared of them. No, whatever. So anyway, I think that's kind of an interesting rabbit hole to go down. I think that's going to be, it's preseason. People are dying to find things to talk about. And in the media, you either hype up Notre Dame for looks or you down talk Notre Dame for looks. But either way, you're getting looks, right? That's the whole, are we relevant? Absolutely, because relevancy is when people who aren't your fans talk about you, and I think Notre Dame clearly hits that. I see a lot of Notre Dame popping on social media, and it's just attention grabbing. So
we're 10-point favorites or double-digit favorites in all but one game this year. But you know how many straight games we won by double digits? 10.
Yeah,
we didn't play all of our wins last year by 10 points or more.
Yeah.
So this is a team that wanted to dominate last year. I think the sports books are kind of feeling that it's going to be similar, and this is a good transition for us. Why do we win those games by more than 10 points? Our offense did play pretty well, but our defense wasn't letting up points, right?
Yeah. And so, let's talk defense. I think, and I've been all over the place.
Well, first, before we get into this, I've been seeing it's popped up like 3 times in the last 3 days about that Syracuse game last year, about offense not even stepping on the field and having
21 points. Yeah.
So if you need any reminder about how good this Notre Dame defense can be, just go watch those first 10 minutes of that game.
Ask Pat Narduzzi about how good we were at Pitt.
Yeah.
So I think Syracuse is one of those things. You talk about the schedule. Healthy and jelly, they were much better.
Yeah.
And I think him coming back, if he stays healthy, I think Syracuse could be
a dark horse.
Could be a dark horse. They could be somebody.
Yep.
Again, I think our schedule's going to look much better at the end of the year.
We'll break down those over-unders in a couple of weeks, but there's definitely one that's on my star highlight, however you want to do it.
Yeah. If I were buying stock, I might consider buying stock in Syracuse. I'll just put it that way. I think defensively it's kind of interesting. And I think about the defense, and we talk about the secondary, and we know our secondary is good, right? And if you talk about the secondary, you talk about our defense, you got to start with Leonard Moore.
Yep.
Holy freaking cow. How good have we had it in the secondary with safeties and corners? You think about Benjamin Harris, you think about
Benjamin Morris,
you think about Xavier Watts, you think about Kyle Hamilton. You think about some of the guys we've got that have gone on to the league and have had impacts. And now it's like, okay, we got some guys in the secondary.
You've got a guy named Adon Schuler who's getting overlooked because of Leonard Moore, right? How talented is Adon Schuler?
Yeah.
I won't say he's getting overlooked, but he's not getting as much hype as probably he deserves because he's that second fiddle, right?
Yeah. Well, and then he might even be third fiddle when you think about Bronte Johnson. And, we formerly referred to him as Tay-Tay. When he was here playing in the 260, Tay-Tay was.
Yep.
But he's been asked to be Bronte, and I'll shout out to our 260 guy.
Yep.
Bronte Johnson. You're looking at 3 guys right there that could be pretty high draft picks in the NFL.
Yeah. Especially in that secondary that's been.
I think all 3 of those guys have potential first round grades.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's
half of the first half.
Which is just crazy. But when you think about the value in the NFL draft and the position those guys play and how they play, and and then defensively, and I we'll go into this as we talk about a little more. I believe it was
just real quick, were they all in the same class? Because both Schuler and Leonard Moore are juniors, and then Barante is a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah,
were they all in the same recruiting class? That might be a topic for another day, but it's like how insane.
I think they were.
It's like how insane is that? But continue on to what you were going.
Well, to continue down that rabbit hole for just a half a second. We always say don't follow Notre Dame recruiting. It's hard to put your hopes and dreams and the ideas and opinions of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. But if you do follow Notre Dame recruiting and you do follow what Marcus Freeman has done in his 5 years, that would point to 4 years ago, when his second year as head coach, how he had elevated the recruiting. If you're paying attention to it, all I can say is, wow. Yeah. We are recruiting at a level I have never seen at Notre Dame. I'm talking
not just one incredible class either.
We're stacking class after class after class. This is Nick Saban in his prime Alabama recruiting going on right now. And I don't want to get too excited down that path, but holy smokes. But I think that there's a lot to do with that. And I think the coaching staff and there's a whole lot of good things going on. And Coach Freeman I need Coach Freeman to do this for me. I need him to be the all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame.
Yep.
I need him to get me 3 national championships.
I think he's about halfway there to the all-time wins, right? I think
he's about halfway there.
Yeah.
I need a Marcus Freeman gate and statue in front of. And then if he wants to go to the NFL, just give me 5 more years, 3 national championships. Then if you want to go to the NFL,
what you remember is it's much easier to get those wins now when you got 4 postseason games. You're at third of a season right there.
But wow. Yeah. So recruiting is on a tear and has been, and it just keeps getting better. So we are playing well in that arena, in that NIL era. So anyway, I was going to go down the path of Leonard Moore, and I think it was Coach Ash I heard in the press conference saying, they want to use him in some slightly different ways. They want to give him some freedom to diagnose what the offense is doing and move around. And, and I think about great NFL players like Troy Polamalu and some of these great defensive players, Ed Reed, and, they had the freedom and the trust of the coaches where they were allowed to shift and adjust, and because they could anticipate where the play is going. And I'm hearing that, okay, Chris Ash, and we can talk about Chris Ash, and not real sure that everybody's real comfortable with Chris Ash after the slow start last year. And I think there's half the fan base is still struggling with that. I think the other half of the fan base has gotten by it because we played so strong down the.
Correct. It's also tough because everyone knew last year those first 2 games are the toughest games. Yeah. Right? Everyone knew that. So I think that's where the struggle comes in for some people, and that's rightfully so. You want to see it against the Miami or the Texas A&M that defense has a great game, right, and lets up 7 points and has 3 picks.
Yeah, so. Give me a 21 points before we get the ball on offense against Miami.
Right.
Exactly. Now we're talking, right? But I think that there's some people that have said, and I think it's an unfair false rumor that got started last year, but there was a rumor circulating that Marcus Freeman had kind of overstepped bounds and he was jumping in and calling defensive plays. And I've heard him talk about it since then, and I think there's no truth to that whatsoever. But I think what he did do was say, listen, these guys are built to play man-to-man. Stop trying to play freaking zone.
Yeah.
They're not comfortable with that. And I think he probably influenced that, but he didn't go and start calling defensive plays. I think he left that to Chris Ash. But he's basically saying he's going to put Leonard Moore in a position where he can be more of a playmaker and be more impactful. And, literally talking about possibly Leonard Moore being at a point where he might make himself a appearance on the stage in New York.
Yeah.
And it's how awesome would that be for freaking Leonard Moore to, again, he's a defensive player. He'd have to have 75 interceptions, 16 punt returns, and throw 2 passes for a touchdown to get a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unrealistic expectation for a defensive player to get there. But for a defensive player to be able to play well enough to get consideration, that's as good as winning it. Right. I mean, we saw that with Manti Te'o. If Manti Te'o couldn't win the Heisman Trophy over Johnny Manziel,
right?
Your defensive players never. And Johnny Manziel did a lot offensively good, but when you look at what the Heisman stands for and everything else, Manti Te'o, in my opinion, it's my bias, was probably the better choice. Yeah. Never won it. And maybe the voters could go back and revisit 2012. They'd rethink that one. I don't know. That'd be a tough one, knowing what we know today.
Yeah.
But anyway, all that being said and done, I think the idea that we're talking about Leonard Moore in that conversation is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And when we talk offense on the next pod, we'll be talking about some potential Heisman candidate on the offensive side, I think, because I think he's
Heisman maybe favorite.
Yeah, depending on the betting odds.
Yeah.
So just
top 3 in all books.
So we'll have to get 6-7 games into the season. If Leonard Moore is having a Xavier Watts type, Kyle Hamilton type season where he's gotten some interceptions, some pick sixes, he's safety blitzes, whatever, blowing up plays. Let's get to BYU. Let's get past Miami. But if we get past to Miami and he's having that kind of season and CJ Carr's having that kind of season, it's not unreasonable to say Notre Dame could have 2 guys represent. And I don't know that would happen, but the thought of that would be
the only time I can think of in my head. There's 2 actually. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush.
Yep,
we're both there. And then a couple years ago, Mac Jones and Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
is the only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. Were 2 teammates, and both of those guys are on the same side of the ball.
Yeah, not unprecedented,
right?
But not common.
Yeah, it would be insane. Maybe Don Schuler or Leonard Moore. Could we wonder what the odds are on his Heisman? I'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, that might be a good long play on the bet. I mean, you might throw $1 and get 1,000 on that.
Right, one. Cash it out beforehand.
But yeah, so I think that's interesting. And then the secondary, we got DJ McKinney, who's come over from Colorado, and as I've kind of dug into him, because you're hearing a lot of stuff out of camp, and if you're paying attention to the general Notre Dame media sphere, camp is very limited. Very few guys have seen it, and Notre Dame's gotten really good at this, which is great for the program, terrible for us as fans. They control the narrative. They control the hype. There's no one going off script. We hear how great everything is and how awesome. It's never as good as they say it is. It's never as bad as you hear it is, right? So I think the narrative coming out of camp is even more controlled this year. There's even less access than there has been in the past. So you got to take everything you're hearing out of fall camp with a grain of salt. It's all kind of what the coach's narrative is they want to speak. And I don't blame them. If I was the coach, I don't want to tip off anybody to what we're doing. And
absolutely.
I think there's a chance our defense is going to look pretty vanilla and be very successful until we get to Miami.
Yeah.
Just because maybe Wisconsin challenges us, but I don't think so. I think and again, fortunately for us, Coach Freeman knows Luke Fickell very well.
Yeah.
He probably knows what he's going to try and do offensively as well as anybody. So I think we can be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Now, you could also argue that Fickell understands Coach Freeman, and he's going to be able to say, this is the tendencies. This is how you get things to occur on his defense. We'll see. But you talk the secondary, DJ McKinney, you go back and you kind of track him and what his history is. He got a lot of high praise at Colorado from Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you want to say about Coach Prime. I love Coach Prime as a personality.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure I'm bought in on him as his coaching style. Yeah. But I do know this. He knows defensive back play. And if he is giving you high praise, you're probably above average in your play style.
Yeah.
So I think the secondary is probably going to be better this year.
Yeah. More experience. I mean, all these guys played last year.
And again, we talked about Don Schuler, and I bet you he's kicked himself 100 times over not just laying out freaking Tony on that one catch.
Right.
He's so uncharacteristic of him not just and he didn't do it the rest of the season. Right. After that Miami game, he did not make that mistake again. Right. But he's probably kicked himself 100 times. Like, I let this freshman know. And again, Miami thinks they got something. They got this guy. We didn't have Leonard Moore on him last year. Yeah. He was not the guy. This year, Leonard Moore is going to be assigned to him.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And then, I mean, you get Christian Gray, who's going into a senior year, switches back from number 6 to number 29. Can he? We've all seen the Christian Gray moments, but can we have the consistency, right?
Yeah.
That's our biggest question always with him. Can we have the consistency? Can we not get burnt 3 times before we go make the pick 6 or pick to send us to the national championship, right? Can we get those just big moments?
Yeah.
Consistently. Can we just
highs, no lows?
Right, correct. Or even just can we just not have the lows, right? I don't need just mediocrity, like breaking up some passes and then go get your random pick, right?
Don't be bad, be average, and then be above average.
I don't want to see you 95% of the game. I don't want to know you're on the field because you're not making a mistake, right?
Yeah.
And then when that 5% I am seeing you as a quarterback, it's for a great play.
Yeah, when we talk about, it's only want it to be in the positive light.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be interesting, but I think I think they're going to be able to put him in a more comfortable position. I think he might be playing the nickel this year.
Yeah.
So I think secondary is going to just continue to be a strength. So I feel good about that. And then you start talking about, okay, well, if secondary is a strength, because I feel like this has been our weakness in the past.
Yeah.
The defensive line.
Yeah.
Now, linebackers, I think we're stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, Drake Bowen led the team in tackles last year, second in sacks.
Yeah.
Mad Framo, Kingston Viliasa.
Yeah.
And Madden's, a little coming off injury. Kingston's coming off injury. But
Right.
I think our secondary is going to be solid. I think our linebackers are going to be freaking solid.
Yeah.
And I think Drake Bowen and KVA are both guys I think that are draft picks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
Maybe
think
day 2 as of now.
KVA could be played to a late first round.
Linebacker is just one of those positions.
Yeah, it's a value position.
Yeah.
Drake Bowen's probably day 2, third, fourth round at best. And it's not a knock on Drake. It's just
that position.
that's position, right?
Absolutely.
It's you could be the best long snapper.
Yeah. What was the guy from Texas Tech who made it the Heisman finalist last year? Didn't get. I mean, he kept falling and falling. He wasn't. So I mean, it's just the position.
Yeah. You could be the best
Right.
kicker in the world,
Right.
and you're at best you're going to go 6th, 7th round.
Right.
You're more like just something.
Not yet. Too many Janikowski's going in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Vinatieri wasn't a first round pick.
Right.
So anyway, I think secondary is good. Linebackers are going to be good. And then the concern I've had is the defensive line. But we've made changes in the defensive line.
Yeah.
New faces.
Absolutely.
So when I think
transfers, yeah. So yeah.
So we got 3. I think there's 3 new transfers that have to be brought into the conversation.
Yep. First is Keon Keeley.
Keon Keeley.
If you follow that story, right? Committed to Notre Dame. Was it Marcus Freeman's one of his first years, right?
I think it was Marcus Freeman was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Maybe it was his first year as head coach.
Either way, he was committed to Notre Dame, ended up decommitting, going to Alabama.
Yep.
Full circle moment, ends up back here. I believe with 2 years of eligibility. I think he
redshirted, I think.
Right. So I think he still got, because it was 3 years ago. So I think he still has a year. And then Francis Brew just got to get down from Pitt.
Yeah.
Who is just supposed to be.
He's a run stopper.
Third year.
He's got 2 years of eligibility.
Yeah.
And I think what I like about Brew is he's kind of small.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fit the prototypical size of a defensive tackle.
Right.
But he's got a motor and a work ethic. And like we saw it, he was one of the better defensive players against, not that Pitt had a whole lot to get excited about, but I mean, Price and Love had their way, but he was the one guy that had an impact on him.
Right.
So I'm excited. And I think that's kind of been, we talk about last year and you think about how we talked about what was the recipe, how do you attack Notre Dame?
Yeah.
You keep the ball away from them, you run the ball, because running the ball against Notre Dame is probably where you're going to have your most success.
Right.
I think Francis Brew changes that equation.
Yeah.
I
hope so. Right.
He's a guy that can hold up his own and stop a run. So I'm excited about him. I think that's a huge addition. And then we got Tione Gray.
Yeah.
And
he's from Oregon. Yep.
He's from Oregon. I'm not over the top excited about him from what I've seen from a play standpoint, but I trust the coaches. But physically, when I see that guy, he is a mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what is he, like 6'7"?
He's
big
dude.
He's huge.
Right.
He is a body type I don't think I've ever seen at Notre Dame on the defensive side of the ball.
Just throw your hand up, right?
I mean, a guy that big at Notre Dame has been a semi-athletic left tackle.
Yeah.
Not a defensive tackle who can, really just get his hands up and knock down a pass. I mean, so I think those are 3 huge additions.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
which Keon Keeley, I guess, is kind of on the edge, but anyways, on that defensive line. But then, you kind of get into Bryce Young and Boubacar Traore.
Both of which had injury issues.
Correct.
And haven't played or been fully healthy. So
we've been talking about those guys on this defense. I want to get into this. They're with the potential first round talent. You can't tell me Boubacar doesn't have that first round talent as well, if he can stay healthy.
If he stays healthy, I mean, yeah.
Like, that dude is just the man on a mid. He's so good when he's healthy, and he might not always put up those numbers, but he's that guy that's getting the double team normally, because we haven't had that interior defensive tackle presence. Now it's like, oh my gosh, this year you might see a Boubacar explosion because he can't be double teamed, right?
Well, if you double team him, you're going to open up Francis Brew and Tione Gray. I mean, you're going to open up. So I think it's complementary. And the other thing is we have to talk about is the new defensive line coach.
Yeah.
Charlie Partridge.
Yeah.
Like everything I hear, everything I've read, everything I've caught on him, he is the guy, was the guy in the NFL. The fact that we got him to go from the NFL to come to Notre Dame is huge.
Yeah.
We hit him on the recruiting a little bit. Just know that Notre Dame is recruiting defensive line like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Again, only 2009 through 2014 Alabama, I think, is anything I can compare it to. And these guys are all potential, but again, it's
all potential. You got to remember.
it's a defensive line coach who has got a proven track record, can talk to these guys, and I'm hearing great things about him. And I mean, when I hear people talk about Coach Partridge on the defensive line, it's sort of the same way people talk about Joe Moore,
right.
Who is now the Joe Moore Award, or Harry Heastan, like Notre Dame coaching legends that are like, these are some of the best in the business. These guys are awesome. And I think that's kind of what we're hearing with Partridge, is like, he is the defensive line. If you're a 5-star defensive lineman, he's going to get the most out of you. So I think about Keon Keeley, and I think about Brew, and I think about Gray, and I'm like, these are guys that are really good.
Well, Bryce Young even. I mean, how much Bryce Young have coming out, right? That, I mean, he's played fine, but it's not been.
But what if he takes his game up? What if Boubacar Traore? And again, as these guys are working in complement, and we've got depth. Again, you can't double team all these guys. We might be able to be in situations where when it's 3rd and long, we could get a 3-man front and get pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
When's the last time Notre Dame's gotten consistent pressure with a 3-man front? I can't remember.
And how much better did the secondary look when the quarterback's got no time and is rushing into throws?
Yeah, like give us an extra corner on the field or an extra back on the field.
Because this was kind of my thoughts on this defense. Notre Dame's had a very good defense the last, what would you say, 4 to 5 years. Like, you're like, man, our defense is.
We've been top 5 defensively, I think, the last 4 years.
I think going
top
into
10
the
for
season,
sure.
This is the most balanced Notre Dame defense, which is a scary thing to say. Like, top end balanced.
Are we a little bit numb as a fan base to it? We've gotten so, it's been so consistent.
I think to the secondary, yes, because you just guy after guy after guy, you know what I mean? But this defensive line, like, this gets me excited, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my gosh, we haven't had this much. We've had one or two guys here. Like, you've had a Foskey who goes and breaks a sack, but that's one dude, right? Like, this is just like, oh man, we've got a couple dudes here that can go get after the quarterback.
We've had good defensive backs, I would say probably 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten better, but the defensive line has not been, they've had players,
right,
but they haven't had consistent and depth.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy because I feel like the last couple of years, the most consistent, obviously the DBs have been very great, but like our linebacker play has gotten better. And I'm like, are we back to the point where our linebackers are like the low point of this defense, like theoretically?
If our linebacker group this year is the weak point, wow.
I'm saying, like, it's kind of more in my head where I'm like, I mean, the defensive line, it's the same I think we say about the wide receivers. It's got to prove it, right?
Yeah.
100% has to prove that, yes, it has taken those giant leaps and steps. It's like, man, is our linebackers really our... That's not a bad spot to be with the guys we got in linebacker.
No, I mean, no knock. We have great linebacker play.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The linebacker could be the weak spot of this defense.
Yeah.
If, and that's a big if, our defensive line can take a step forward with the additions, with the new coaching, like with health. I mean, like we could be looking at possibly the best Notre Dame defense of all time.
Yeah. I don't think that's an understatement. I mean, it's this defense every year we say it's gotten better than the year before, and I generally do feel that. Obviously, you got 2 steps back to go 3 steps forward sometimes, right? I mean, you have the bad games, you have the bad moments when we switch coordinators, because people forget this. I say this every time. People come at Chris Ash at the beginning. People wanted Al Golden gone first couple games too, right? And, and then he was the greatest thing ever. He's defensive coordinator at Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, that 100%. It will not surprise me if Chris Ash is applying for NFL jobs next at the end of this year.
And again, there's not a Notre Dame fan who pays attention that wouldn't welcome Al Golden and give him a hug if they saw him in a game.
Right.
I mean, and Chris Ash could get to that level.
Absolutely. And people couldn't forget about those first 2 games because, I mean, it was 100% same thing for Al Golden. It's closer, right, for Chris Ash. And
so, I hate to say it. I mean, I do, but I'm going to go back to it. This could be the best Notre Dame defense in my lifetime. Yeah. And I've seen some pretty good defenses.
Right.
I mean, I think back to Lou Holtz years, and there were some good ones, but
we've had very, very good defensive players, but I just think this could be the most balanced, like
By far.
top end balanced, like where the gap's not far between those safeties and those linebackers, right? The high point and this weak point of this defense.
Yeah, when we talk about, is it line? Is it defensive backs? Is it linebackers that are, if you rank those three groups,
right?
1, 2, 3, you might be saying 1, 1A, 1B, 1C.
Right. Where in years past, it feels like secondary's been one pretty big gap and then 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Like, depending on the year, it's gone back and forth, but it's a situation where this defense this year feels incredibly talented, a lot of depth, a lot of these high recruits that because this football season is going to be 16 games. That's the hope, right?
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Luke College,
right?
Who's a great player in his own right.
Like Mark Zachary has had a lot of hype as well.
Zachary, yeah.
Ethan Long was a redshirt freshman last year, or he's a redshirt freshman this year. Jaden Sanders is also another transfer. I forget where we got him from. I'm not remembering off the top of my. I don't remember off the top of my head, so I don't want to get that out there. Dallas Golden didn't even talk about, like
freak athlete.
Right, I'm just saying
who flashed at times.
Right, I'm just saying like this defense.
Joey O'Brien.
Right. Yeah.
Like Joey O'Brien, I've heard people say he might be a slightly faster, taller version of Kyle Hamilton.
Right.
It's like, don't put that on the kid, but if that's true, give me all of that.
Right.
So, and that's the thing I would say, like we have been really good. And I think when Benjamin Morris got injured, and we still went on the run to the national championship, what you really observed at that time 2 years ago was we've got depth in the secondary. And now I think Coach Freeman has built us depth throughout the defense, not just the secondary, but he's building depth in the line. I think I heard Coach Freeman say the Big Sean the other day in a press conference.
Yeah.
And that's Sean Sevillano. We like the personality of Sean Sevillano. He's not really broke through and done what we hoped he would do. I mean, we thought he'd be a freshman just because of his body size.
Right.
We thought he'd be a breakout star his freshman year. Didn't really get a lot of playing time. I don't know if that's conditioning, what have you. But, his name's being talked about now. So there's some guys that have been in the program that have some depth. So, we're gonna be seeing some rotation. And I mean, I think about like when we had Justin Tuck and we had some of the, we had Lynch and we had Nix and we had some good defensive lines.
Yeah.
But then our secondary and our linebackers were not as good. Maybe there was one good guy in the secondary, but not like a plethora.
Absolutely.
And then we've got this plethora of great linebacker play. And we're secondary was one or two guys, maybe one guy in the defensive line. And to your point, it's like I think we've got guys in every position that aren't just good, that are way above average.
Yeah, and what I'll say is you look at these guys, or you just look at the transfer portal at the end of the season, we don't have a bunch of guys flocking out, which I think has been which a lot of programs have, where, just to use IU for an example, right? They're relying so many people to come in each year that it's like, right, when they strike gold, and they have an incredible 16-0 season. But like, you got to just restart the next year, which they're getting a little bit better, and
they're starting to bring in the recruits,
right? But I think that's where Notre Dame's going to have the advantage, is you've got some guys that know your system, developed a little bit, and you're gonna need them. You need depth in this college football, like modern college football. You can't have one of everything, right? You got to have 2 or 3 in each position that can come in a big moment and make a play. You got to have an Aeneas Williams come in and make a catch in the Orange Bowl. Steve Angeli going for a drive in the Orange Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen. I was watching Gino's press conference earlier. He's like, which we'll get in the offense. I'm not going to get into that.
We'll stay away from offense.
We'll stay away from offense. But just, you got to have a guy that's ready to go in at all times, is all I'm saying. And I think that's been Notre Dame's motto for a long time, is be ready, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of that next man in, you're one play away. Prepare, and I mean,
absolutely.
And so, I'm excited defensively about this team.
Yeah,
maybe too much. And that concerns me. I'm defense wins championships.
100%.
And I love where we're at defensively.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'd be lying to say I don't have a little bit of reservation from the first 2 games of Chris Ash.
Yeah,
but I've gotten past that. I know there's a lot of people who haven't. I've gotten past that. But there's still a little bit in the back of my mind. I need to see it.
Now, I am a firm believer on defense. You got to have some confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah,
100%. And that was our biggest struggle last year, is we didn't have any of those build up games to get into two of the best offenses we played all year, where the confidence was there.
Yeah.
Because when you got to Syracuse, that defense had confidence.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't second guessing what they were doing. They weren't thinking about hitting somebody or picking off the ball. They were just doing. Right? And that's
you got to play fast.
right. 100%. And that'll be a big thing. I think by the time we get to BYU, get to Miami, they'll be playing fast and confident, and it'll be a scary sight.
Yeah, because, I mean, when I've coached football, I always try and get defense playing fast. And, what have I always said? See ball, get ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's in the air, go get it. If it's in someone's hands, go tackle it. Like,
right.
You don't want defense to be thinking too much.
Right.
Like, you want defense to just see and react. And I think that's, to your point, where we were slow last year.
Yeah.
And then we got faster. So and with the longer offseason, gosh, this offseason feels like it's been forever.
Longest offseason of all time, because
we went from the shortest to the longest.
100%. And it's been miserable. Let's get that out there, because it's been Thanksgiving. Like, Thanksgiving is the last time you think how close that is.
How far that was.
Well, I'm saying how close that is, coming up, that you're like, oh my God.
But I think that's the other thing that makes us, it's a positive, and the net positive is because they've had a chance to get these guys even that much more time to understand assignment and react and play fast. The other thing is the conditioning, strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hype coming out of the camp that defensively everybody just looks like they're physically optimized. Yeah. I mean, they're just big, fast. They're just ready to go. So, and I mean, that's offense, defense, both. So I think that bodes well. So a lot to be excited about on the defensive front. And I think this defense can carry this team a long way, because if we can shut down, I mean, really, it's 3 games for us, and it's Miami, and I think everybody knows how big Miami is. My concern about the Miami game is we don't make it bigger than what it is. It's just football at the end of the day. Go out and do what you're supposed to do. Yep. But these are going to be the best athletes you see.
Yeah.
Provo's the same sort of thing, but after you beat Miami and you play, and then you got to go a couple weeks later and go play in Provo.
BYU's first.
Or BYU. I'm sorry, BYU. You go BYU first.
Yeah.
After you play or you go BYU, I think you're going to have just the change in altitude and some of that kind of stuff that's going to make it a little, and it's a small stadium. It's going to be a rocking atmosphere.
Yeah.
And BYU does have a loyal fan base.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a tough game, and then you're going to have to get up and not get too up, but not too confident going into that Miami game. And I think you got a game like SMU where you could be looking past, if you come undefeated into SMU, you're setting yourself up for a letdown, a trap game kind of thing.
Well,
and I think Syracuse is there as well.
I think what the great thing about us for that SMU game is we have a few things going for us for it not to be a trap game. SMU, if we played SMU earlier in the season and people are sleeping on them still, because I think SMU is going to be very good, I think that's worse for us, because I think we're like, all right, SMU's probably ranked at this time. I generally think that, which they're 20th right now.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're completely under the radar, but I think they could be pushing that college football playoff.
They could be undefeated.
100%. And I'll go B on this one, it is senior day. So that also, I think, always helps. You see that extra legs there, and then see it is a night game, which will be just incredible. So, I mean, I think that helps us avoid that trap game.
Yeah, it'll
if we
feel
played
big.
SMU after Wisconsin week 2, I'd be like, oh, crap. Like that I think that makes it a little bit more of a,
because if everything goes well and you win by 10 plus at Wisconsin, then you'd have that letdown potential. And the letdown potential against Rice doesn't concern me as much.
I don't want to say that. I'm concerned for home openers. I'm concerned for the first month. Once we make it through September, if we're great.
Yeah, Coach
Freeman's got this in.
Coach Freeman in September is not good. Coach Freeman's great. Yeah. I mean, he's.
I'm saying once we make it through, if we make it through September undefeated, I'm feeling very, very good. Give us the big games later in the season. I'm not worried about them. Get me through September undefeated.
Yeah, I think defense is going to carry us.
Yeah,
and that's crazy to say because our next pod will talk offense.
Yeah,
but I'm super excited, and I think that's just. I'm ready. Put the ball down. Let's play. I'm ready to see some football at this point. So.
Yeah. So we're on the dial. And anything else to wrap up this pod on defense? Then
no, I think we've covered it all. Yep. I think if you're not excited about this Notre Dame defense, check your pulse. Go see your doctor. Make sure you're not dead.
Anything you gotta do, because this defense is gonna be top 2 and not 2, right?
Fair. So here's the question. We'll finish up on this. We'll leave this out there, and maybe we can put this on X and get some feedback. How many Notre Dame defensive players go in the first round?
Yeah.
I hate to project that far ahead.
Yeah, I'm not even saying just this year. I mean, it's easy to look at the guys that are on that the starting lineup, right? I mean, but if you're legit looking at this defense, Christian Gray does not go first round. Leonard Moore, first round. Adon Schuler.
Seems like a late first round lock.
Yeah, Bronte Johnson.
Late first round, if not early first round.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, Drake Bowen probably does not go first round just because of that position. But yeah, KVA probably not just because of the position.
KVA is a guy I think that could be a late first round guy. Like, not usual because of position,
absolutely.
But he could work himself
Same
into
with
that.
Madden, I feel like, it's pushing that.
Bramo, same way. He could push that late first round, more likely second round. But
I go Bubakar, and I'm like, that dude could be
he could be top 5.
Oh, if he has a good year, his biggest thing is staying healthy right now.
I think, he's just got to have sustained health.
Yeah.
I think Young needs another year before he goes.
Yeah.
I don't see Young being he could have a great year and go this year. Yeah.
But that's the guys without going too deep into the depth chart that you're like.
Could you not see Young playing himself into a first round position?
Yeah. I mean, that defensive line position is so valuable in the NFL.
Yeah. And so when you look at Tony Gray, you look at Francis Brew, like those are guys I could see playing themselves into the first round really easy this year.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Notre Dame is loaded. This defense is loaded with talent.
I can't think of the last time I've said that that's even a realistic possibility.
Yeah, the crazy part will be what if all these guys going into the same draft, right? And you got, without even touching the offensive side of the ball. If you think some of these guys could be their last year at Notre Dame, I mean, if you think Leonard Moore, Adon Schuler, Bronte Johnson, I don't know if he's draft eligible this year. He's a redshirt sophomore, so I don't know if he is.
I think he is.
Bubakar, and then you throw in like CJ into that mix, potential first round.
You could have 4 or 5 drafted players just on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but then you throw CJ into that first round without even touching any offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean,
and I hope they all don't leave after this year. I will say that, right?
Yeah, because are we in a rebuild or a reload program, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you hitting about IU, and IU's in this kind of a rebuild every year,
right?
And I feel like we're in a reload situation, but it's like,
yeah, but it's hard to.
But we talked about it. There's guys like Dallas Golden. There's guys like Joey Hamilton. There's guys out there or Joey O'Brien. There's guys out there that like. We are not even like...
Yeah, we're going to see flashes of this year.
We're going to get to see them, especially with the new redshirt rule and everybody getting 5 years, and you don't have to worry about playing freshmen and underclassmen. And so, I think that's an interesting...
Which, just a quick point on that, though, I feel like it makes it almost a little bit harder on coaches, though, right? This new rule, because you had these freshmen, especially with the transfer portal, like, hey, we want to save your eligibility, right? We don't want to get you in some of these games, so we make sure we don't waste this year. Now these kids are going to be like... I want to play, or otherwise I'm transferring. I got my 5 years no matter what, right?
Does it make it harder or does it make it easier? Because there's players that were like, hey, I want to save a year of eligibility.
Maybe. I don't want to play special teams.
Think about Isaiah Foskey.
What about him?
When he came in and was playing a lot of special teams.
Oh yeah. Well, he finished his career playing a lot of special teams.
I know, but he came in and was impactful before he was really having an impact in the standard defense. He was having impact in special. So now you've got a lot of these young talented guys.
Maybe we just start seeing them loaded on special teams.
You can start putting some talented guys on the field in the special teams areas. Yeah. Let them be electric. I mean,
that's true.
It could be easier for the coaches.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day, it comes down to a couple of different things. I think one is players want to play.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I don't fault anybody in the NIL era with the money being thrown around. I mean,
if you can go somewhere else, play every week and make money.
And you know what? The best thing that ever happened to us was Jadarian Price. Yeah. Not to get on the offensive side of the ball, but we'll go there. But a guy who could have left for a lot of money, been the primary starting back at a lot of programs.
Anywhere else.
And he said, you know what? I value Notre Dame. I value the brotherhood. I'm happy where I'm at. Yeah. And thank the Lord, he's still got a first-round draft pick.
Right.
And he may be, and we've talked about this, he may be in a better position than Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Just because he's on a better team. But they're both going to ball out. So. Yeah. All right, let's wrap up defense, and then we'll come back later this week and we'll hit some offense.
Absolutely. So, defense is looking great. A lot to be excited for. Not much else to say about that, right? It's going to be great.